So now we're on Hunter versus iamturk. I think this is the second iamturk game we're going to see of this tournament. So iamturk is going up against the PAWG Hunter. PAWG Hunter. Whatever a PAWG Hunter is. So iamturk is the French, and PAWG Hunter is the Ottomans. So we're going to get an Ottoman versus French. Interesting. Interesting. So we got two civs that love fast fortresses, and we got two civs that can somehow play okay in H2 as well. So I think mainly we're going to have to look at the Ottoman start and deck to determine we're going to see an H3 war or we're going to see an H2 war. You know, because I know iamturk is a pretty skilled player. I've seen him play before for a long time, and I think he knows what he's dealing with the Ottoman, so he's not going to stand by an H2 and let an Ottoman cream him with falconets. He's going to come with his own roaring H3 as well, expecting that, so we'll see. All right. One thing you see in the France versus Ottoman, both players go for a trading post, because both civs rely heavily on unit shipments to get ahead. So both players definitely need those train posts to keep that delivery of 69 XP alive. It's very important for them to do that, right? And now we see the Ottoman explorer there, trying to back out and trying to come in and essentially get... Ooh, look at this. This is a 110 food treasure. This is going to be a big advantage for the Ottoman player. He's going to get a ton of food there to get a really good age up going. That's pretty awesome, right? Shipping in 3 Yaruks. So, what's the deck called? H2. Huh. I mean, he can still fast fortress with this deck. He has the means to do it. But that's fascinating. It's fascinating how he has a scary trees Triaz versus Ottomans. I'm surprised I still is here. Yeah, big time. I mean, that's a huge boost for the Ottoman player. 110 food. You kidding me? They changed them on this map. Right. So what's France running anyways for a deck? So land. So both players could go H3. They could go H2. So we just don't know what the verdict is just yet. Ottoman's going to go Core Master. I'm assuming the same from the French. Core Master. 400 wood for each player. Strong barracks and infrastructure start. Possibly even a market tech or two. That's what we're going to see on both sides. Now, one thing about this Ottoman deck is that it has, which is pretty interesting, it has the possibility of herdables. Actual cows. That's kind of fascinating. I don't think we've seen any Ottoman decks this whole tournament actually consider a possibility of H2 to go with cows. So that's kind of interesting, I think. That will definitely keep things pretty fascinating here, to say the least. Yep, so a market coming up for the Ottomans there, so they can get their hunting dogs, at least, to help their Janissary numbers. France is already getting those hunting dogs. Yep, I guess that is sort of similar to between Ottomans and French. They definitely plan in a market between age 1 and 2 to get hunting dogs, placer mines, usually steel traps, and amalgamation later. So yeah, a lot of focus to economy between both civs, just to make sure that their age 2 and 3 is not off to a rocky start. Quite important. Oh, PAWG Hunter got a 50 wood treasure. That'll definitely help out with market tech research. 4 CBDs for France. How about Ottomans? I'm going to go 5 Yaruks, followed by 700 wood. So, Ottoman players playing H2. They're going for an H2. They're going for a barracks. And they're either going to go for another barracks or they're going to go foundry and stable or something. We'll have to see. So, the French is getting stable, steel traps, 4 villagers. So, they're going to open up with hussars. And they could either stick with Hussar or they could go for a semi-fast fortress with that, just like we saw 2 games ago. So stable is going to be in effect. They are going to get a pretty burly batch of probably 4 or so Hussars and try to cut down the Ottomans as best as they can. Problem is of course you're going to be dealing with Janissaries that can counter that, so you have to be careful. Right, so he doesn't have enough pop yet for caveat, so Unfortunately, he's got to do a bit of chopping to get that wood for the house. So he does use the market to trade for some wood so he can build a quick house. He is shipping in 700 gold, by the way, so he is. So we're getting that big beefy burst of gold ready to go to prepare for a potential combat in H2 or a Fortress Age in H3. Right. Turk is doing a great job with herding, keeping the bison right up against the town center there, so when he queues up a bill, it's already there cutting up that meat. Doesn't have to do a lot of walking, saving those villager seconds. It's so critical to economy. Ottoman, already pushing with Janissaries. They got their first batch of 5, supporting it with another batch of 5, queuing up another Janissary. So this Ottoman is going to go hard Janissary push, aiming to take out his opponent very quickly, put him on his heels. But I believe the France is going naked fast fortress. They went naked fast fortress, folks. Grabbing up that gold, and they're going to go right up to H3. Whereas this Ottoman's committed to Janissaries, the France is going to go up to H3 and probably get skirmishers right away to counteract him. So he's aging up with Exiled Prince, aimed at fast age up time with no age up reward. CBD, watch out, CBD. In some ways it's a good distraction, but in other ways you lost a bill. Yeah, no, this is going to be pretty critical because by the time he ages up, he's going to have his first shipment ready to go, and he's going to go with skirmishers. Ottomans are like, no, not today. I'm going to build a destroy your casa so you can send the shipment in. But French are just going to hang out in their town center, get as many of these gens as they can. But thankfully, France was able to get another house down to negate that attempt. 5 dragoons. Interesting. So instead of going for the skirmisher shipment, he goes for the dragoons. That's a very safe option because while dragoons don't have the same range as skirmishers do, they don't have the same numbers and they don't have the multipliers. What dragoons do is they are mobile. So what the France can do, he can actually maneuver around the Janissaries, pick them off one by one, and actually counter-cap, because the problem is if the French player was like, okay, I see Janissaries, I'm going to make skirmishers. The Ottoman, who is committed to H2, is going to have a stable, and he's going to just kill you with the handcap. So the French player knows he has to go Dragoon so he can counter-cav, and he can counter heavy infantry with proper micro. So he has to make a tough call to go for the less optimal Janissary counter just so he can survive counter. So look right there, he counters the cav with ease, and now he can combat the Janissaries. He's actually using his CBDs and Minutemen to sandwich the Janissaries and eliminate them using the remaining Dragoons. This is a good show of why France villagers, the Courrier de Bois, the CBDs are so good, because they're really good for range combat. So he was effectively able to get the entire Janissary army. And he still has a Dragoon ready to go to deal with the Hussars now, right? And he is actually going to ship in some more gold too. So he's going to be ready to go with more Dragoon reinforcements. And then with the following shipments, he can maybe get in skirms, falconets, cuirassiers. He's setting himself up for a substantial defense to deal with this encroaching Ottoman player. That's what he's going for here. He's not a dummy. He knows what he's doing. He knows that he has to be ready for the long haul against this Ottoman player who's going barracks stable, hand cav with the deli, and then range, with the Janissary. So he's got to prepare himself for that. And that starts with Dragoons, and that can eventually lead to skirmishers being pumped in later on. Thankfully, he herded appropriately, so he has the food to survive here and get enough Dragoons to get himself out of this pickle. And eventually, he can do so good as to eventually free up some space to get another hunt later on, so he can make more Dragoons. Yeah, so Dragoon here is going to be his backbone troop, just because cavalry is a threat here. If it wasn't for the cav, he could have gone skirm, and it would be a easy to decide victory. But now, because there is hand cav, he has to deal with the hand cav appropriately with the Dragoons, and then consider the Janissary threat. It's a really tough situation to find yourself in, and I wouldn't put it on your worst enemy. You know, it takes a ton of micro, it's hard to do, it's annoying. Look at all the work he has to do this. He has to stall time. It's really annoying, you know. As much time as he can bide himself with this town center doing range damage is great. So that's what he's going to do. So what he has to attempt now, he's got to scare these delis away and give himself an opening for these skirms to make it out alive. This is really tough, what he's doing. He has to give himself a shipment angle. He's got this angle currently for the skirms to come out on and start blasting the Janissaries. He has to time it perfectly, and he has to reduce casualties on his dragoons at the same time during the whole process. So skirms are going to come out right here. So he's got an opening. He's going to shoot that Janissary. He's going to get this one. He's going to get that one, and then the dragoons have to come right in and save them as best as they can. Now, the number of hand cav, can he do it? Well, maybe. But he's still got 4. He's got 6 of them. It's not going to be easy. He at least is giving himself a little breathing room. It wasn't perfect. He lost the skirmishers. He lost that executioner to the Janissaries. But he at least dealt with the number of them. Took some of the pressure off. Gives himself a bit more time to gather some gold and other resources. Maybe take another volley onto these Janissaries. Almond player knows to still pressure the military and not the CBDs because the military is the main threat. He's just going to finish off the town center right now, and then he's going to go right into destroying, raiding. Now, the Bills are still on the field, so economy is still a possibility there for the French player. But now it looks like the Jan numbers are small enough that the CBDs can deal with them with the Dragoons, which is great. You know, this is going to be a defense for now for the French player, right? So from here, what the France has to do now, he has to either get another town center, or he has to get a tower for the cheaper cost of wood to be able to get his other shipments, to get his cuirassiers, his skirmishers. That was a bit of a misstep by the iamturk there. He should have backed up a little bit more to maintain that range advantage over his opponent. But wait a second, no, there is no range advantage. It's 12 range, never mind. But still, it would have been better to be offered a longer range so he could pull out faster because, frankly, when it's Dragoon versus Jan, it's about dodging the bullets, you know. You don't want to take too much bullet fire with these Dragoons. It helps a little bit that they are cavalry, the HP is a little bit naturally higher, and the Pierce armor is there, but you still want to avoid getting shot as much as you can. And this is worse because now the Ottoman has adapted, and he has switched over to some wood economy to get AZAPs. AZAPs have multipliers versus Dragoons, and they shoot faster. Not quite as fast as a normal archer, but very close to it. Instead of a 1.5 rate of fire, it's a 1.75, which is right in the ballpark of it, so it's just slightly a bit slower. Huge threat to Dragoons. So that's what we're looking at here. And at this stage, the Ottoman has burned through majority of his crates and units, and now he's sending the cows in. So now we understand what that herdable card means to the Ottoman build. So now he's probably going to get a livestock pen somewhere over here, and he's going to fan up those cows right away and eat them like crazy. He's going to be eating steak for breakfast, lunch, and dinner to make sure that he can keep making enough infantry and cav to finish off this French before he can re-establish and redeploy everything. The France does have 7 skirms now, so he is essentially getting the skirmisher Dragoon wombo combo going. He is queuing up some more Dragoons now. He does have enough resources to get, well, wait a minute, no, he didn't even he didn't even train those skirms, he just shipped them in because he had his second 7 skirmisher shipment ready to go, so that just shows you why the French love to pack their decks with tons of unit cards in H3. Even if you take out their big boy 8 skirmisher card, they still have the 7 one ready to go. And look at all the AZAPs he's losing right now. He's doing a pretty good number on them. Also, Dragoon's going to take some time to harass the villagers here and maybe take one out. Great. You gotta retreat, man. You gotta retreat. Run. Run. Come on, get these AZAPs first. You gotta get the AZAPs because they got the multipliers that you don't want. Get the AZAP, good. Dragoons have to micro down the delis now. Get out. Now this is tough because there's a lot of numbers here. This is not easy. You gotta get these guys out of here. This is not good. Oh man, that's horrible. Alright, you got a substantial number of Dragoons. You got about 13 of them. Pretty good number. And now you gotta sort of just maneuver around and go for what you can there, right? Yep, definitely. So, let's see. Get these... Oh, he's gonna harass the Bills again. Now, I don't know... Does he have Falconets yet, or is he not? So he's going with the Cuirassiers first, it looks like. Because it might be a slightly safer option with so many, you know, cav units as a threat. The France is just gutting Vills like crazy here. And then it's forcing the Janissaries to come back and save the Vills. Kind of a neat little trick there to stall himself some time, while also slowing down the Ottoman economy a bit. Going for cav combat now, right? He's got his Cuirassiers up. Did he send the Cuirassiers in? No, he canceled out to actually go for cav combat. Interesting. Because I think he realized that with so many Jans on the field, Cuirassiers might be down very quickly. So what he figured he'd do is go for cav combat. So these Dragoons are now going to be a bit tankier. They're going to do a bit more hurt on the enemy, so that he can potentially clean up the delis faster and maybe pose a threat to the Janissaries. He also is training up some skirmishers. Oh, that's not good. Oh, man. That's sad. He almost got a town center up. That would have fixed things a little bit for himself. But now he's got to angle these skirms away, deal with the delis, and micro down these Janissaries. I think if he can micro down all this poop, things are looking good for him. Get some breathing room finally. Yeah, no, you need some breathing room if you're France right now. You gotta deal with this. Good. He's hiding his delis. He knows once the delis are done, then the skirmishers can breathe easy and then just hunt down his Janissaries. So he's making it a little bit more of a poker game for the French player here. Yeah, no, but at this point, France can keep getting skirms. They seem to be on the winning edge of things. But he's got all these Vills out in the open, too. The Ottoman thought that he could go in the direction of the French base and somehow get away with it. Now he's being punished and being forced to retreat, which is a ton of wasted villager seconds. You know, thankfully he didn't lose the Vills, but now those Vills are all technically idle and not doing any work for him, which is not good. Right. So now we got skirms here, pretty good stack. Dragoons in good position to deal with the cav. He's got plenty of Dragoons to deal with that cav, by the way. And now enough skirms to, you know, push back against these Janissaries. Janissaries are going to try to wipe up right against the Dragoons and get their hand attack in there. But unfortunately, the French army is mobilizing well, and they're basically fishing out the Janissaries that they put into him, and he's getting free hits on them, which is great. Oh, GG, WB. That was a substantial France. That France was put into check by losing a town center, losing another town center before it was even built. That French knew what he was doing. He knew the Dragoon skirmisher combo well. He knew when he needed Dragoons, and he knew when he needed skirmishers. He knew if he started with skirmisher, he would have lost that. I think that's the biggest takeaway from this match. If you're a France and you're in that sort of a barrack stable situation with the enemy, you got to start Dragoon and then reinforce with skirmisher, not the other way around. You can't just start with skirmisher and then reinforce with Dragoon, because then the hand cab just melts you. Dragoon survives the hand cab, and then you can eventually pad yourself with the skirms against the Janissaries. So that was a great demonstration of effective French fast fortress skirmisher Dragoon gameplay there. So that was quite nice. That was a good one. So now